Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om सच्चिदानंद रूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रय विनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नमः। समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्म विद्वरम्। हरि ओम, salutations to all. So we are seeing the backstory of Vritrasura, and in that we saw that there was this king called Chitraketu in this place called Shurasena near Mathura, and he had many wives, but he did not have a child through any of them. And so he was very upset. Though he was a great king, he had a lot of power, position, land, everything. A great sage Angira comes there, and Chitraketu finally gets some guidance from him, and a yajna is done. And in that yajna, the yajna prasad that is attained, that is given to this first queen, Kratadyuti, and this Kratadyuti in time conceives, and a child is born, and Chitraketu becomes very happy, and the whole praja, everybody is very happy, and eventually he becomes partial to her, and the other queens, they don't like that. So they conspire and they poison the child, and the child is dead. And this 14th chapter of the 6th canto, we see this child when he is dead. Now both Kritadyuti, Chitraketu, all of them, they are very sad. So that's where that earlier chapter ended, 14th chapter ended, and we also find that she has, developed a certain level of bitterness also, and there is a certain, we could say, lack of Shraddha in Bhagwan. So we see from 54th verse onwards, she says that, O Creator, you are extremely foolish that you act contrary to the interest of your own creation. Meaning, if the creation has to move ahead, the children should continue to live, and then they should have further children. Now the child has died. Death of a youngster while the parent is alive is pointing to this. And if one says that you are the reverse, meaning then you are our constant enemy. Meaning, if you say, there is no such rule that a young one should not die before the old ones, then why do we need even a controller? Why do we need anybody to give karma phala? And so you are our enemy in that context then. And so what is her conclusion? That you are inexperienced, unintelligent, you have cut the bonds of affection. So that is her conclusion. And Kritadyuti then calls out her son, because she still hopes that, the son will come. So she calls out to the son, and she says this, that, dear child, you ought not to forsake me, a helpless woman. Look at your father burning with grief. With you as our pilot, we could easily cross the dark region of hell, which is difficult to cross for the issueless. Don't go far in the company of cruel death. Arise, O darling, these infant playmates of yours are calling you to romp freely with them. You have slept long and you must be seized with hunger. So that way she is trying to call the son who has gone. And Shukadevji resumes that even the Emperor Chitraketu, he was wailing at the top of his voice, extremely agonized he was. And the couple were thus wailing. All the Praja also, everybody is in a lot of grief. So the followers, the Praja, the citizens, they all also started lamenting. It is at that time that Naradji and Angira Rishi, both of them, they come there. So that's where we had stopped. Now we start the 15th chapter. So there Shukadevji continues that this Chitraketu, who was lying down with so much of grief, Uchatur mritakopante patitam mritakopamam shokabhibhutam rajanam bodhayantav saduktibihi. So both Naradji and Angira Rishi, they spoke to Chitraketu, who was lying by the side of his dead child, fully overwhelmed with grief. What did they tell him? Now, this is one very important portion which comes. Koyam syatava Rajendra Bhavan yam anushocati tvam chasya katam asrishtau pure dhani mata param. You are lamenting for this boy now, but what is your relationship with this boy? See that. In the previous birth, what was his relationship with you? Then what is it now? And what will he be to you hereafter? Think about that. So first question they ask him is this. See, they don't directly console him saying, you know, it is all natural. You may be feeling this sorrow. Nothing. They straight away take this opportunity to make him aware that who was this boy before? Meaning this life alone right now there is a sambandha that he is your child, you are his father. But who was this jiva before and who is the jiva going to be afterwards? So that's the first question. Then he says, Yatha prayanti samyanti stroto vegena valukaha samyujyante viyujyante tatha kalena dehinaha. This analogy keeps coming in different Puranas. It comes even in, Adhyatma Ramayana, Vedavyasji wrote Adhyatma Ramayana. So there also he mentioned the same analogy. And what is that analogy? That, various pieces of straw in the flowing water, they will come together for some time, they will travel together for some time, they will depart, again they will come together, again they will meet, travel, again they will depart. So, yatha prayanti samyanti valukaha. And so here, jivas also come like that in this flow of life. In this life, okay, this jiva has come appearing as your son. Further, one in this life, one travels for some time. Then again, either the son goes or the father goes. Then some other life, some other relationship one will meet by. So this is what he says, that this is the nature of life. So that is first example he gives. Yatha prayanti samyanti. Then yatha dhana su vai dhana bhavanti na bhavanti cha evam bhuteshu bhutani choditan isha mayaya. Second analogy he gives is that the seeds, just as the seeds spring up from the other seeds and do not spring up in some cases, so do living beings prompted by Bhagavan's Maya evolve from other living beings in some cases and do not evolve from some beings in some other cases. So one is the flow of life, that is analogy. In that we meet, depart, this goes on. Second is this seeds. Certain seeds will sprout from the others, certain will not sprout from the others. All that happens by Bhagwan's Maya. For so long he did not have a child. Now, because of that yajna that was done and the blessings of Angira Rishi, etc., now the child is there. Now the child is gone. Now one may say, then why was the child born? The child came to live in a certain span of duration for which its karma is there, and then when karma is over, the child is gone. And now you will see that the departing of that child becomes such a powerful occasion for them to get this knowledge and vairagya. That you will see as we go along. So that's the second analogy that he gives. That children are born by Bhagwan's Maya, by Bhagwan's will. So some people have children, some people don't have children. You did not have children, now you have children. You had a child, now again you don't have a child. This will all keep happening by the will of Bhagwan as well as the law of karma, whichever way one takes it. Vayam cha tvam cha ye cha ime tulya kalas characharaha janma mrityor yatha paschat prang naivam adhunapi bhoho. He says that you and we and all these mobile and immobile creatures belonging to the present time do not really exist even now. Just as we did not before the birth and shall not be after death. Meaning this is one illusory existence. It's not real. It appears very real to us because identified with the body, but otherwise not very real. Bhutair bhutani bhuteshah srijatyavati hantyajah atma srishtair rasvatantraihi anapekshopi balavat. So he says that it is Bhagwan who, though unborn and absolutely unconcerned, he creates, protects and destroys the living beings just like a child through beings evolved by himself and not independent, and therefore not independent. How the child creates, if you see in, let us say on a beach, now the child creates full, one hill and some mountain, some bridge, some city, everything the child creates, and then after some time the child only destroys it. Like that, Bhagwan creates the whole Srishti, brings forth so many beings, living, non-living, everything, and then he only destroys. When we forget that it is Bhagwan's Leela, then we get identified, then there is sorrow. So then he goes on to say that this is all Bhagwan's Maya, it is his Leela. Why are you taking it so, personally? Now, the argument in Chitraketu's mind can be that I as a father produced a son. So obviously now I'm lamenting because my son is dead. So Naradji gives one very powerful line here, you see. Dehena dehino rajan dehat deho bhijayate bija deva yatha bijam dehyartha iva shashvataha. This line one should always remember. Very, very powerful line this is. What he says is, the parent can give birth only to the physical body, not to the jiva. So, dehena dehino rajan. This is the body of one embodied being is evolved from the body of another embodied being, which is the mother. From the mother's body, this child will be born, having united with the body of a third embodied being, which is the father. So, when the father mother unite, then the jiva will be, then the physical body of the child is conceived, then it grows 9 months, and then it is born. Just as one seed springs from another seed, but The Jiva who is inside this is eternal. See that. Dehyartha iva shashvataha. Dehi, meaning that indweller, that Jiva. Jiva has taken many bodies in the past. It has taken now one more body here, based on many karmic connections. So, meaning that you are not giving birth. See, Bhagwan gives birth. By Bhagwan's will, the whole Srishti happens. So, he produces, sustains, and he destroys. What the Jiva can do is only produce the physical body. That also by Bhagwan's will only. If Bhagwan does not give that capability to the body, that body will not have. So it will not be able to produce. That we saw 1 crore wives he has, and he couldn't get, he did not have one son. Then the yajna is done and the Rishi's grace, invoking Bhagwan's grace, then the child is born. Now, today one may say biologically 20 things, saying that, um, whatever one says, that sperm count is not sufficient, or that biologically this man does not have, so impotency and whatever 20 things people can say, okay, this is the reason why he does not have a child. Reason can be anything. But then he did the yajna here and then invoked Bhagwan's grace, and then the yajna prasad is given to the wife, and then she conceives. So the point is, at some level, one can give certain reasoning and one can say, okay, oh, this is because of this happened, this is because of that happened. Ultimately, it is will of Bhagwan only that everything happens. That is the clarity that one should have. And if it is the will of Bhagwan that the child is not there, so be it, it is not there. One has tried whatever best one has tried, it is not working, so it is not working. Maybe something else is destined. Bhagwan is the karma phaladata, so he knows. So the parent must always remember this, that parent has only given birth to the body of that child. The jiva has come into that form in its own journey. Parents have no right on that career or the life of that jiva actually. But parents think, Mera beta hai. What I am saying should happen. Why he is not listening to me? And he should have taken that career, he should have married that boy or that girl. Are they have their vasanas to exhaust. They come from so many past lives, they are carrying certain vasanas. They are going through that. For that, they have come here to exhaust some of them. So, this big picture, many times we know, but we don't apply. Chitraketu also, at this point in time, when it is hitting him hard, that time Narada is giving this knowledge so that he comes out of this delusion. And you see, all of them will come out of it then. So, this is one thing that he tells him. Then he says that the distinction of the body and the jiva has existed from eternity and has been conceived through ignorance. Because of ignorance, we don't know this, that our nature is Atma, and even that as a jiva, we have traveled for many lives. This is only temporary form. Same way, the other people also are jivas who have come in this form for some time. They are on a yatra to realize the self. So ignorance is that, because of which then we forget all this. So even as the distinction of the generic property of the generic property and the individuality of a thing assumed as inhering in the thing itself, that because of ignorance one is mixing up these two. The jiva and the body are different things, but we are mixing this up by thinking it is one. Now Shukdev ji continues that in this way, when both Narad ji and Angira Rishi have consoled Chitraketu, then what does Chitraketu say? He wipes his face, withered through mental anguish, and with his hand he has wiped out his face, and now he spoke. Raja Uvacha Kauyuvamjnana Sampannau Mahishthau cha Mahiyasam avadhutena veshena gudhaviha samagatau. So Chitraketu says, you are very wise, jnana sampannau, and most adorable, Mahishthau. Amongst all the people, you are those who are adorable, you are most adorable. Mahishthau cha mahiyasam. Who are you to? And you have come here in the form of ascetics, and you are gudhaviha samagatau. You have come here in this form, disguising yourself as ascetics. Who are you? Charanti hyavanau kamam brahmana bhagavat priyaha madrisham gramya buddhinam bodhayon mattalinginaha. So he says that Brahmanas are the beloved of Bhagwan. They go about earth at will disguised as madmen for admonishing sensually minded people like me. So he says Kumaro Narada Ribuhu Angira Devalo Asitaha Apantaratama Vyaso Markandeyotha Gautamaha Vasishto Bhagavan Ramaha Kapilo Badarayanihi Durvasa Yagnavalkyascha Jatu Karnyas Tatha Runihi Romashashchavano Datta Asuri Sapatanjalihi ऋषिर वेद शिरा बोध्यो मुनि पंच शिरास्तथा हिरण्यनाभ कौसल्यः श्रुतदेव ऋतध्वजः एते परे च सिद्धेशा charanti jnana hetavah. So he lists down so many rishis, all the names of these rishis. See that Sanat Kumar, Narada, Ribhu, Angira, Devala, Asita, Apantaratama, Vyasa, Markandeya, Gautama, Vasishtha, then Parshurama, Kapila, Shuka, Durvasa, Yagnavalkya, Jatukarnya, Aruni, Romasha, Chavana, Dattatreya, Asuri, with Patanjali, then the Veda Shira, the sage Bodhya, Panchashira, Hiranyanabha, Kausalya, Shrutadeva, and Ritadvaja. These and all the many other Siddhas, the Lord of the Siddhas, they move around on the earth with the object of giving wisdom to those who are adhikaris. Therefore, you too are the masters of my stupid self, a sensual brute. Hold aloft the lamp of wisdom to me, plunged in blinding darkness as I am. So he's, seeking guidance. He accepts that he is confused, deluded, and are very attached. So he seeks guidance. So Angira Rishi tells him, I am that same Angira who had blessed you with a child. Just imagine how much the attachment must be in this king's mind that he forgot Angira Rishi only because of whom he got the child. That much attachment he developed to the child. So Angira uvacha aham te putra kamasya putra dosmyangira nripa esha brahma sutta sakshat narado bhagavan rishi. I am Angira who blessed you with a child, and he is Naradji, he is the son of Brahmaji himself. And itham tva putra shokena magnam tamasi dustare atad arham anusmritya mahapurusha gocharam. So he says that you are Bhagwan's devotee, and seeing you, drowned in this ocean of despondency and despair, it is very difficult to get across. Now, why are you in that situation? Because of the loss of your son. Though you should not have been drowned in this ocean of despondency, but you are drowned. And so when we saw, so we have come down to shower the grace on you. See, this is called Ahetuka Daya Sindhu, one example of that. There are so many such examples. Mahatmas, they come, they want nothing from this, the Jiva. This Angira Rishi, what does he want from Chitraketu? Nothing. But he and Naradji both came. Especially when a devotee is there and the devotee goes through trouble, Bhagavan sends in some or the other way some guidance, something to wake up that Jiva if the Jiva is in delusion. So one should not think that, I am alone, nobody is there with me in this grief, who will take care of me? Bhagwan is always there, and Bhagwan will send appropriate people. Now just look at this. Chitraketu's life, both of them come. Chitraketu has not asked for guidance yet. He is not praying also to Bhagwan saying, please send somebody. And these two, Naradji is a great devotee of Bhagwan, son of Brahmaji, and Angira Rishi also. They have nothing to gain from him. Then why did they come? That is called Ahetuka Daya Sindhu, uncaused compassion, ocean of compassion, Daya Sindhu. So now they came, and why they have come? To help him to get out of this ocean of grief. And very nicely he says that Brahmanyo Bhagavad Bhakto Navasiditum Arhati. The Brahmana and Bhakta of Bhagavan doesn't deserve to grieve. See, it's not that if one grieves, one is lesser or lower, but if one remembers that Bhagavan is with me and Bhagavan knows the best, yes, it may be difficult to accept some loss, some difficult time, but I will not drown like this in the ocean of despair, despondency, now don't know what to do, fully shattered. Bhakta, here it is said, even in the Gita so many times it says, no, that Natvam Shochitum Arhati. Natvam Shochitum Arhasi. You don't deserve to grieve. Why? Because Bhagavan is there. He is a karma phaladata and he does nyaya always. What is in our capacity to do as a duty, that we will do. But one should not, think, oh, now I am in sorrow, nobody is with me, all that. Do the duty, what has to be done. Arjun's case also, the grief is there, sorrow is there, okay, because he has to kill his own people, and even after the war, even after the Gita, when the war is happening, Arjun is doing the duty. There is grief and pain in the heart because he has to kill Bhishma and Drona and Kripacharya and so many of these his own people. But he is doing duty. Why? Because that is the anchoring. Bhakti will bring that anchoring. Ki Bhagwan is there, he is the karma phaladata, he knows the best, and all means of peace have been exhausted. Now war is the only inevitable situation. So then one has to do what has to be done. So when one forgets that ki Bhagwan is with me, then one is, one isolates oneself and then one feels completely victim of life as though. So that's why he says that Brahmanyo Bhagavad Bhakto Navasiditum Arhati. Tadevate Param Jnanam Dadami Guhyam Agataha Gnatwanya Bhiniveshamte Putrameva Dadavaham. He says, I came to give you this very knowledge. And so he says, I was going to impart the highest wisdom to you even then, when he came earlier. This knowledge of the truth and that nature of Bhagavan and Ananya Bhakti, all that he was going to bless Chitraketu even at that time. But at that time, Chitraketu's mind was not ready for it. Why? Because he was obsessed with, I want a son, I want a son, I want a son. And that we saw that how Angira Rishi looked at his face only and told him, you are not at peace, what is bothering you? You have everything with you, tell me what is the challenge. So he says here that I was going to impart the highest wisdom to you even then when I visited your home for the first time. But coming to know of your insistence on having something else, meaning a son, I conferred on you the boon of a son alone. Now he says, Adhuna putrinam tapo bhavataivanubhuyate evam daragraharayo vividhaishwarya sampadaha. Now you have seen the limitation. It says the agony of those blessed with a son is being directly experienced by you. Even so, a wife, house, riches, power, prosperity of various kinds, Sound and the other objects of sense, the fleeting glories of the sovereignty, land, kingdom, army, treasury, dependents, ministers, friends, and relation, all these, understand, O ruler of Shurasena, that they are sources of grief, infatuation, fear, and affliction. See, these are the words which are used here. What are those words? Mahirajyam balam kocho bhritya matya surijanaha sarvepi shurasene me shoka moha bhayartidaha. They give all this only shoka, sorrow, moha, delusion, bhaya, fear, arti is affliction. Now, if somebody says, no, no, my putra and my dara and my relationship, they all are very good. Even if they are good, how long they will be good? Till you are there or they are there. After some time, they will depart or you will depart. Then the mind will miss. Then the mind will crave. Then the mind will relive in the past memories. Again, it will be sorrowful only. No, no, Swami, it's okay. Later on, sorrow may come, but while they are there, so we at least had a good time. So I focus on that only. Now, people think like that, and so the attachment happens more, and that is what causes so much more sorrow. The more the attachment, the more is the sorrow. So, when a rishi like Angira is coming and saying all this is to create vairagya. This is not to, think negatively about the relationships and the house and all that. It is to understand that however great they may be, there is a time, there's a limited time, like the first analogy that he gave. Now, pieces of straw come together, travel together, then they depart. So, karma is bringing. Who was the jiva before? Who is the jiva now? Who will the jiva be later on? That if one thinks, how much one is attached to, just imagine. Oh, I can't live without this son of mine. I can't live without this spouse. I can't live without that, let us say, anybody, friend. Who was that person before you knew that person? Forget previous life. In this life itself, who was that jiva? Not every jiva we know from birth onwards. Some friend we met only after at some point in time. Who was that jiva before? That jiva was growing individually, separately. We are also living separately. Some karmic connection we came together. We are living. While we are going through together itself, we should have this clarity that this is temporary. Do what is the duty. Don't compromise with dharma for that. Rest of it will come and go. People come, people go. But for holding on to people, being attached to them, then we compromise with dharma, we compromise with our sadhana, we don't do our duties, our puja, japa, whatever it is. Then more attachment, then that will bring more sorrow. So that's why he says here that all these, they are cause of sorrow. Either immediate sorrow if they don't turn out properly or they don't, behave properly, they do some durachar, they are whatever, they have some grudge against you, they have some aversion, some kind of a dvesha, then to immediate dukkha. And if they are nice, loving, etc., then it is postponed dukkha. Either way, it is dukkha only. So he says they are sources of grief, infatuation, fear, affliction, and they are momentary, like an imaginary city seen in the sky. There's a Gandharva Nagar, that way, and are of the nature of a dream, illusion, and fancy. The word used is Gandharva Nagara Prakhyaha Swapna Maya Manorathaha. Please remember, this is again from a higher standpoint. As long as we are in the dream appears very real. But the moment you wake up from the dream, then you realize, oh, this does not even exist. And the whole thing was such a projection of the mind. Same way, one is imagining so many things. this jiva is there, that jiva is there, and without them I can't live, and with them only I will be happy. Is one imagination projection of the mind only. If one understands this, ki this is going on, this is the nature of the flow of life is like this. I am the witness who watches everything. That is changeless, and that is the nature of truth. That part we forget. We easily are carried away by the flow. So that's why he says here that they are merely conceptual in that they are perceived without reality and disappear the very next moment. Now, if somebody says, no, no, all this we have got because of past karma, the health, the wealth, the people, the house, the money, the power, the fame, is all because of my hard work, some life I have done, that's why in this life I'm deserving. Then what is it? It is to say, okay, yes, from a certain standpoint, yes, we give some reasoning in terms of karma, and that is true also. But how long will that karma last? Till that much time only this will also last. The moment that karma is over, that phala is exhausted, finished, we have finished enjoying it, then it's finished. Oh yeah. Which is why suddenly some things we can't explain. Oh, they were such close friends, Swamiji, and then 20 years they were such friends, and in 1 minute, one incident happened, and now they are poles apart. That basically karma got over between them, that's all. And if one watches it more deeply, then one will say there's some play going on, like the dream. Suddenly you wake up in the morning, the whole dream would end. So, like that, he says, this is one imagination, it's a projection. Um, then, as a matter of fact, this body alone, consisting of the gross elements, the senses of perception, and the organs of action, has been spoken of by the knowers of truth as causing afflictions and agonies of various kinds to the jiva who regards it as his own self. Even at the body level, one says that this shariram, vyadhi mandiram, it is a abode of diseases only. So long as our immunity is strong, we are fighting. The moment that immunity goes down, we become weak. Some of the, some of the viruses and whatever bacteria and other things are so powerful also that person doesn't survive, gone, dead. So that becomes a nimitta to drop the body because the prarabdha of that body was that much only. To exhaust that, the jiva came into that body. Now that is over, so the body will drop. So that's why he says, Tasmat swasthena manasa vimrishya gatimatmanaha dvaite dhruvartha vishrambham tyajopa shamamavisha. So he says, hence, investigating with a composed mind the nature of the self, give up the faith in the abiding reality of the objective world. Meaning you think this world is so real and permanent, you give up that faith, give up that wrong notion. It is all illusory, just inquire into the nature of the self and become quiet. So two things he says that. Tyaja upashamam avisha. Enter the state of quietude. That's what it means. You drop this false notion that one has that this world is real, happiness comes from this world, from the person, from the money, from the position. So you drop that, turn within, enter a state of quietude, and then inquire into the self. Swasthena manasa vimrishya gatim atmanaha. Who is this self? Who am I really? Am I this jiva who is coming from so many births in the past into this form right now, who is living in this form? And if the Jivan Mukti is not attained, then how many more forms? Who am I? Am I the body? I can't be. Am I the Jiva? I can't be. Then who am I? He says, inquire into the nature of the self. Naradji, he says, having been purified, through the bath and various other purificatory rituals, after disposing of the body. Now, having said all this, they have understood, and then what happens? They do the final rites. So, Naraji here He says they start doing this final rites for the body. Receive from me the following sacred text as an abode of the highest blessing. Meaning, after you do this, you come and get the knowledge. By repeating and fixing your thoughts on it, you will be able to behold Lord Sankarshana. So, Naradji is going to give him some mantra. That is what he is saying here, where he will initiate Chitraketu. And so that he will have Bhagavad Darshan. So he says, once you do the rites and rituals, after you do the, meaning the Antyeshti karma and the, the cremation, funeral rites, etc., then you clean yourself, take bath, etc., and then you come to me, and I will give you this knowledge. Uh, by repeating and fixing your thought on it, you will be able to behold Lord Shankarshana, meaning Sheshanag, in just 7 nights. By resorting to the soles of his feet, O King of Kings, devotees belonging to the remotest past, Lord Shiva and others got rid of illusion of this world and forthwith attained to oneness with his unsurpassed, unequaled greatness, and you too shall attain before long the same supreme result. So that's where this chapter number 15 ends, where Atmagnan in some way has been given. Last line what he spoke, this Tasmat Swasthena Manasa Vimrishya Gatim Atmanaha, inquire into who am I. And before that, the portion is to create Vairagya. So this can be applied even when the son or the child is living. In this context, yes, the child is dead, and so it is, after so much effort when they have got the child and now the child is dead, then the sorrow is so much more. And in that time, one uses this opportunity to deepen one's Vairagya, to destroy this moha. These are wake-up calls life brings. And then Mahatmas like Angira Rishi and Naraji, they have come to give the right guidance. Otherwise, one can become very bitter and nasty and self-destructive and destroy others also. And, one can do anything. Now just imagine Chitraketu, 1 crore wives and not a single son. And then he found a son. He got a son. And that son had died now. Very, very young, he died. Now, what could Chitraketu have done? He could have gone into any of this kind of destructive modes. And on one hand, yes, there is sorrow. So he was lamenting, crying, wailing loudly. Then he fell unconscious. All that happened to him. On the other hand, he could have gone into that other extreme also, where we become very angry, frustrated, and try to find who is the culprit and kill them and destroy them. But the third path is what this is, where this opportunity is used for getting Vairagya. And that is the way, that is the reason why the sadhus, mahatmas, santa, they have to come. And it will hit hard at that point in time. The idea is not to encourage Smashan Vairagya alone. The idea is to ensure that this Vivek, the Jiva starts doing Vivek. So that this moha, that attachment we have towards people, they are my people and my spouse and my child, nothing, there's nobody in mind. That's all delusion in our head, projection of our mind only. Now please remember, I'm talking from psychological and spiritual standpoint. Functionally, yes, one may say I am this person's father or the son or brother or wife or husband, whatever. I don't start saying ki kya, which husband, which wife, which uncle, which father, which mother. I don't own anybody. Nobody is mine. People will get confused. Functionally, yeah, they have people are there, identities are there. That's not a problem. The problem is psychological. Problem is spiritual ignorance. Then we have got attached. Now we want them to behave in a certain way, make certain type of choices, speak in a certain way. If they don't do that, then we feel hurt. Those are the challenges. Those have to be handled. So now this chapter ends there, 15th chapter. Now the 16th chapter, Shukadev ji continues. Shri Shuka Uvacha Atha Devarishi Rajan Samparetam Nripatmajam Darshayitveti Hovacha Gnyatinam Anushochatam. Now something very unique happens. What happens is Narad ji, he does a little miracle. See that. So what did Narad ji do? Devarshi Rajan Samparetam Nripatmajam. This departed Samparetam means that child who has gone, the prince who has departed, he calls um, so Nripatmajam, and he calls and he shows to everybody the subtle body, the Jivatma. Darshayitveti ha vacha. And all these people who were lamenting na, from the same community, they were all of them. They were lamenting, Kare, the son of this Chitraketu Raja is dead and all that. To them, he showed the subtle body. Now, please remember, has a specific purpose to induce Vairagya, okay? One should not say, oh, in Bhagavatam, if Naradji could bring back the departed and make him speak to the, parents, then we should also do that. Don't. Even the jiva who has departed because the karma is over. Now let the jiva go. No, no, but we miss that jiva so much. We want to communicate. How long? How many times will you keep calling? And how many times will one keep connecting with them in that way? And how much? That is only creating more and more bondage. You are not going to move on. They are not going to be able to move on. It is a problem for both. If that was necessary, Bhagavan would have kept na for some more time. No, no, Bhagavan to he does whatever he has to do, no karma phala he gives. It is not like alarm, We are supposed to get up at 6 o'clock and then we get up and then we put the snooze button, again go back to sleep and again after 10 minutes we wake up. We can't extend like that. No, now the jiva should be some more time. Now the jiva we have to connect again. Now I'm missing the jiva. So now I want to talk to the jiva. Don't do all that. That's not required only. It is difficult, but that's the wake up call Bhagavan is also giving. Through the death of near and dear ones, the biggest wake up call comes saying, till yesterday I was talking to this person, now he died. Now, how ephemeral life is and what should I do with my life? That is the priority, has to come properly, saying, why am I chasing perishable things? I should realize that it is imperishable Atma. So even if I call the jiva, talk some more time, how long will that happen? And what am I going to get out of it? I'm only increasing my attachment. And it is not that once you talk, then the desire goes. Now, once you talk, once you communicate, and once that reply comes, then you are addicted to it. I want more, I want more, I want more. So that which should become a means to become detached, itself becomes the means to become attached. Oh, Swamiji, then why did Naradji do that here? Naradji did that to create this detachment only, because now you see what the jiva will come and tell. Because of the presence of Naradji as well as Angira Rishi, it is happening in a certain way whereby they will get the clarity. This, the king, the queen, then all the other queens, everybody will get clarity from what this jivas now speaks. So see what he says now. Narada Vacha. जीवात् मनपश्य भद्रम ते मातरम पितरम च ते सुहृदो बांधवास्तप्ताः शुचा त्वत्कृतया भृशम. So Narad is telling this jiva. What is telling the jiva? That, oh jiva, may you be blessed. Bhadram te. Pashya, you look what? All of this, mataram, pitaram. You look at your father, look at your mother, how they are weeping. Then look at all of them, suhrudaha, all your well-wishers, bandhavaha, relatives, and taptaha. They all are in such grief. Shucha Tvatkritaya Bhrisham. And they have been going through this grief because of separation from you. Now, what should you do? See, right now the Jiva is in that subtle form. Okay. Now Narad is telling that Jiva, you enter into this gross body. Then they will be able to listen to you properly because of the senses. No. Otherwise, Naradji has the ability to communicate with the Jiva directly in the subtle form. And everybody can't. They won't even know where, which Jiva, who is talking, Narad is talking to whom. So he told the Jiva, now you enter this body. Kalevaram samavishya sheshamayu suhridvritaha bhungshva bhogan pitra pitra prattan adhishtishta nripasanam. He says you enter the body and surrounded by all your kinsmen and relatives and all of them, you enjoy the luxury provided by your father for the rest of your life, which had been as though cut short by the untimely death, and then you ascend the throne when the father is no more. But you see the Jiva, what the Jiva will do. Narad is saying you come so that you can enjoy, you can be on the throne and you will bring comfort to all the people. But look at the Jiva now, what the Jiva says. Kasmin janmanyami mahyam pitaro mataro bhavan karma bhirbhramyamanasya devatiryang nriyonishu. So he says, look at the Jiva intelligently. The Jiva is saying, which incarnation were they my parents? See that. Kasmin janmani ami mahyam pitaraha mataro abhavan. In which particular incarnation were these people, meaning Chitraketu and this Kritadyuti, they were parents to me, who have been revolving by the force of karma through the species of gods, lower animals and human beings. He says, I have been going through because of karma so many yonis, na karma bhir brahmyamanasya deva tiryang nriyonishu. In the devata yoni, in tiryang means the animals, you know, their spine is like this, tiryak. Our spine is like this. So he says, in the devatas, in the animals, in the humans, I have been going around so many lives now. Which life they were my parents? You tell me that. First shot only given. Full detachment. Then he says, Bandhu Jnati Ari Madhyastha Mitra Udasina Avidvishaha Sarva eva hi sarvesham bhavanti kramasho mithaha. It's all very powerful what he says here. He says that, you know, people, the jivas, they will take turn. He says, indeed, by turns, during different incarnations, all people actually come to be relatives and kinsmen and adversaries and mediators and friends and neutrals and even bitter enemies in relation to one another. So this Janma, they are my parents. Who knows which Janma, what they were. In some earlier Janma, they would have been my friend. Some other Janma, they would have been my enemy. Some other Janma, they could have been some Madhyastha, neutral people. So what am I supposed to get attached to? That's the point. Yatha vastuni panyani hemadini tatastataha paryatanti nareshveva jivo yonishu kartrishu. This is a nice one. He says that, you know, this gold and various things like wealth, all that, it passes on from one person to another. Suppose it is now with me. Now some enemy comes and fights with me and let us say loots it away from me. Now the gold will go to that person. Now the gold belongs to that person. The gold does not have any loyalty towards me or towards that person. Whoever has it, it belongs to them. They are using it, then somebody else will take it. It will go to them. They will use it. It just goes on. So in that way, even as gold and other commodities pass from one place to the other among different men, so does the embodied jiva pass through different wombs and different procreants. So at the moment I am with this, I am born to these two. So now they are my parents. Now next Janma I will be born to somebody else. Now they will become my parents. Then I will be born to somebody else. They will become my parents. So which parent am I supposed to be attached to? See that when Narad is telling him that, you come into this body and then you give happiness to all these people around you and you also enjoy. He says, which parent, what am I saying? What is my duty? Why am I supposed to come back into this body? All that. Then uh, further he says, the relation with men, even of an animal, cow, etc., yet living, is indeed perceived to be temporary and not abiding. And the feeling of minus with respect to such a being really continues only so long as there exists a relation with it. That's all. Till the relation is there, oh, this is mine and this is my son and my spouse and my. After that, Jiva is gone, what relation? Next Janma it will continue, there is no guarantee. All this सात जन्मों का साथ and all that is nonsense created by people. कहाँ लिखा है उसमें? Which of our scriptures are saying कि 7 lives will be continuing after marriage? Nothing like that. Each jiva has their own journey to carry forward. That's all. They will continue. They came into this life connected with certain number of jivas. They will depart from here, continue ahead. At some point in time, when the jivas have to meet again, they will meet. That clarity one has. One will do the best now. One is not going to be disinterested, uninterested, or irritated, anxious, upset. No, but one knows deep down that this is all momentary. I am a jiva in the yatra, like how we go in a train. We know there are so many passengers in the train. We may strike some conversation also with them. We talk to them nicely. We build some nice bond. But we know that when the destination comes, I have to get down. They may continue ahead. They may have some other destination, they will get down. And finally, last destination, everybody will get down and they will go their own ways. So life is also like that. In that now we made some deep bonds and short time and attachment, and then we say, oh, without this I can't live, and lament and become weak and fall down. All that we saw earlier. So the jiva is telling them, which jiva, what am I supposed to do? Just like the wealth is passed on, like that, this body also, the jiva is taking new bodies. See that. A jiva has found its way into a particular womb and thereby entered into the relation of a son with the another embodied jiva that has begotten or given birth to it. He is really unrelated with any, there is no connection really speaking. It is some karma that has brought them together. In as much as it is eternal, it is jiva is eternal, birthless, and free from consciousness of being the son, etc. This limitation ki I am supposed to be only the son. In this janma, okay. It is only so long as it is seen related to another as a son that the other jiva can claim it as its own. After that jiva departs, who can claim this is my son? That jiva is gone. And next janma you will relate only as a son, there is no guarantee. Certain karmas to exhaust those one came into this life and connecting as a parent and son. Those karmas over, another some set of karmas comes up, and if these two have to relate as friends, they will become friends also. So he says here that being essentially the same as Brahman. Brahman is the infinite consciousness. That is the true nature of the jiva essentially. The jiva is everlasting, free from decay and unmanifest. It is the ground of all body, mind, and so on, and self-illuminating. Being all powerful, it manifests in the form of universe by the means of the gunas of its own maya. Meaning essentially one is that Brahman who using its power of maya appears as the whole Srishti. But one has forgotten that. Then one is thinking of oneself as a jiva, and then even as a jiva one is beginningless and going through many lives but is under the control of maya. So then one gets attached. Oh, this is my son, this is my spouse, that is my husband, friend, this is my teacher. It goes on. Is all ignorance there only. So indeed, none is very dear and none unwelcome, none is akin and none alien to it. Esha nityo avyaya sukshma esha sarvashraya sarvadrik atma maya gunair vishwam atmanam srijati prabhu. That's what we just saw. Bhagavan only creates all this by his will. Then nahi अस्याति प्रियः कश्चित् न अप्रिय स्वः परोपि वा एकः सर्वधियां द्रष्टा कर्तॄणां गुणदोषयोः. So none is very dear, none is unwelcome, none is akin, and none alien to it. On the other hand, it is the one dispassionate witness of varied minds of friends as well as of foes. In fact, the self owns neither virtue nor sin, nor does it enjoy the fruits of action, and remains unconcerned as it were, for it is a witness of both causes and effects and altogether independent. Meaning, as a infinite consciousness, one is only a witness of all the different states of the mind as well as all the other relationships. That Atma does not have any karta bhav, bhokta bhav, nothing. Jivatma, the Jiva identified with one limited entity, body, then one develops kartritva, bhoktritva, and then attachment to the people. So, this is what that Jiva who had gone, that son who was born, who departed, that Jiva is telling. So, it is a wake up call to everyone because this Jiva said, and meaning that Jiva did not come back into the body to enjoy. The Jiva did not have that moha. That's the point also we have to understand. Otherwise, Naradji said, now with his power, he is telling the Jiva, you come, get into this body, now you rule. Enjoy. After the father dies, you also enjoy and bring happiness to relatives and everybody. And Jiva said, what? What are you even telling me? He gave knowledge to everybody else there and he departed. See that. Shukadevji continues, having spoken thus, the spirit of the departed prince disappeared, and struck with wonder, those kinsmen of his then gave up the mourning for him, cutting asunder the ties of affection. So all those people who were there, they understood, yeah, this is the moha, this is a delusion that we had, and the jiva went away. The jiva didn't bother because that jiva's got certain clarity and that jiva gave the right understanding, right perspective, right knowledge. Now what did they do? They burnt the body. Because Jiva, they saw Jiva is also not interested in coming back into the body. You know, that is the most interesting point. I will stop with that today. That those who have departed now, they are very liberated. We think that their mind must be missing us and they must be craving to be with us and atript atma and some desire is not yet fulfilled. Swamiji, this person went away. This so many plans this person had now. There may be some karmas, no doubt, the jiva would not have completed. But that is what is the seed for the next life. And even if the jiva is attached, it will take some time to move on, but it will move on. And one thing is definitely there, that the jiva doesn't want to come back into that body. Physical body one doesn't like. Because it is a big limitation. But we are identified with the physical body, so we think that that body alone is the way to, connect with the world. Whether one has a background in Vedanta or Hindu philosophy or not, or one is a believer, non-believer, whatever it may be. Common experience of most of the jivas who depart is they are liberated in that sense that they feel, Appa, we got out of this body, what a pain it was. And those who have come back into the body for whatever karmic reasons, they went out and then again they are back into the body. They are not very happy with the body, saying, Arey, I was in such a happy state, nice state. I was so light. I was literally the nature of the jiva is illumination, light. Now again I'm back into this Jadavastu in this body. Again I'm limited. There it was, I had so much more freedom, power beyond, the realm of this finitude. Now again I'm back into this. So that Jiva was very wise here. The Jiva said, I am not coming into this. What are you saying? And even if the Jiva comes after some time, the Jiva has to drop the body. As though the same father, mother are going to continue next Janma also. It is not going to happen. So that Jiva who was detached gave the knowledge to all the people around and went away. Now their delusion also is gone. So Naradji gave on one hand and the Jiva also gave on the other hand. Both of them gave knowledge and created enough Vairagya. All of them, including the Chitraketu and this Kritadyuti, all of them, they are now clear. You see further what will happen. So they burned the body. Cremation done, final rites done, everything done. And Naradji had also told, ki you do the cremation finally and then you come and I will give you the knowledge. But in between he called this Jiva so that the Jiva also gives the knowledge. So that they also understand that Jiva who went does not have any moha towards them. They must be thinking, oh my child, and crying. Jiva doesn't have that attachment. The Jiva went. So many times it's all wrong notion in our mind only. So that way he gave clarity and he departed and they burned the body. Now what happens? We will take up in our next class. So next class will be in June. I will put up the dates of June. Next week we don't have a class.
प्रिया प्रीतम की मंगल प्रीति रीति मंगल कांति हसनी दसगन की मंगल मुरली दीना धुन की मंगल आरती मंगल बणिक त्रिभंगी हरि की मंगल सेवा सब सहचर की मंगल सिर चंद्रिका मुकुट की मंगल छवि नयन में अटकी मंगल आरती पभी अंग अंग की मंगल गौर श्याम रंग की मंगल अति कटि पियरे पट की मंगल चितमणि नागर नट की मंगल आरती मंगल शोभा कमल नयन की मंगल माधुरी मृदुल पैन की मंगल वृंदावन मद अटकी मंगल क्रीडन जमुना तट की मंगल आरती मंगल चरण अरुण तरुवन की मंगल करणी भगति हरिजन की मंगल जुगल प्रिया बावन की मंगल श्री राधा जीवन की मंगल आरती प्रिया प्रीतम की मंगल मंगल प्रीति रीति डोल की मंगल आरती, मंगल आरती। राधावर कृष्णचंद्र भगवान की जय। ओम न तत्र सूर्यो भाति न चंद्र तारकम् नेमा विद्युतो भान्ति कुतो यमग्निः तमेव भान्तमनुभाति सर्वं तस्य भासा सर्वमिदं विभाति। सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की।
Okay, any questions for today? Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.